Okay. Okay. Okay, let's get started. At any time, if you want to get up, go to the sweet table, go to the hamburger hot dog table, please do so. Not going to throw it away, not going to take it home, so please eat it up, okay? So please eat it till it's gone, because there was a ton of hot dogs back there. Good evening and welcome. I'd like to thank you for coming here tonight. Y'all know what this is about. This is about celebrating the student athletes in our school and celebrating the year that they've had, and it's been some kind of year. So not getting to do this last year, this is even more special this year that we get to do this. So I couldn't be any happier that we got this going, that we're actually eating, that we're all fellowshipping, and we're together. So that's great that we're getting to do this. Before we get started, I want an FCA captain, I want Tyler Johnson to come lead us in prayer.
Will everybody bow their heads, please? Dear Lord, thank you for letting us all gather here safely and blessing us with this food we're about to receive. And Lord Jesus, thank you for the awards each one of us has been blessed with. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Tyler. Okay, as usual, I'm going to apologize. I'm going to do a lot of thank yous before we get started. But they're people that mean a lot to what we do around here. Tonight we're coming together to celebrate team and individual achievements with our student athletes. Everybody that I'm going to thank is doing something that's helped building kids, and that's why I need to thank them before we get started. I'm going to thank first our administration for allowing us to do what we do. Because coaching is fun to see how kids develop and for them to say a lot more yeses and nos. We appreciate that. Miss Lisa Hagwood, who's somewhere floating around. Miss Joey Hembry, Lori White, Brandy Fick, Celia Miller, Miss Lynette, Miss Gloria. They do the little things that nobody realizes what they do, but it makes a huge impact on what we all get to do. So I want to thank them very much. Mr. Richard and Justin, Miss Sue, and all the maintenance. We don't ever ask y'all to pick up anything, and those people work hard to set this up today and do the things that we don't want to do. They're getting it done. Miss Megan Doyle and the Booster Club for everything they do, and pretty much everybody that helps assist with fundraising. You don't know how vital that is. Even though the school does their part, anytime that we ask for any fundraising help, everybody steps forward and gets it done. So we really do appreciate anything the Booster Club does or anybody that helps us with our fundraising efforts. Anyone that helps with the Pee Wee program. The football program, it just happens. All this, and then basketball didn't get to do their thing this year. Basketball, so everything that involved in our Pee Wee program, that makes every program that we do special, more special. Alton Walker, I don't know where he's at. He's usually floating around with his camera. I always call him the hardest working man in photography, but he really is. I can't tell you, Alton, I was thinking back to that game that we had this year in baseball. It was 30 degrees, and there's Alton Walker taking pictures for us. So nobody begs the man to do it. He just comes out and does it, and that's why he's special. Zach Hoyt. I don't know where Zach is, but we call him Dr. Hoyt. He's not a doctor, but he is a doctor in everything he does because he drives the bus. He can fix a flat if we wanted him to. He wraps ankles. He does everything. So, Zach Hoyt, you're real special. I don't know where you're at. Thank you, Zachary. All right, Miss Bunch. Miss Bunch, can you stand up? I don't know if anybody knows Miss Bunch. I was waiting for a round of applause would have happened. I'll start it. Some of you know Miss Bunch and what she's done. She's kind of become a motherly figure to some of us, me included. And she's really trying to help our academic side of it. She's doing a special job, and she's going to help me in a little bit. She didn't even know it, but she will help me with some stuff here in a little bit. Coach Randy Johnson's not here, but everybody knows that Coach Johnson's stepping away from coaching, but he will still be in the biology classroom and doing that. And Coach Johnson, he's only been here 2 years for coaching and teaching, but he's become a Greyhound really fast. And we all love Coach Johnson and glad he's doing what he's doing. First Sergeant, can you stand up? No, sir. I'm going to read it so I don't mess it up. I would like to recognize First Sergeant Daniel. This is the man I used to call First Sergeant Daniels. So I got it right tonight, right?
Yes, you did.
Your leadership and devotion has been a great example for not only me, but everyone that knows you. In my mind, you are the GOAT when it comes to coaching rifle. And as we were talking a while ago before we got started, I think that rifle is the most winningest program. I shouldn't say most winning, most state championships, correct? Would that be fair to say? So I'm going to offer up a flag for you. So wherever you're at, you'll have a flag to fly, and we thank you and wish you the best of luck in retirement.
Thank you.
Lastly, Coach Reynolds. Coach Reynolds, you can come up to the front. You can come on up. No, you are. You know, what's great is I don't even have to introduce who he is. All right, everybody knows. Same thing, Coach Reynolds. Get out to the front. I really would prefer that. I'd like to recognize Coach Benny Reynolds. Coach Reynolds, how long have you been here?
21 years.
21 years. He's a hometown boy, and I think if anybody knows Coach Reynolds, he gives everything he's got every single day. If you've ever seen him walking across campus, I dare you to keep up with him. I dare you. I'm glad to work with Coach Reynolds, and I call him a friend. I've been here 14 years, and he's all I've known since I've been here. Coach Reynolds is stepping away from coaching, okay? But we all know that he's still a vital role in what we're doing. He's a mentor. He's a Christian leader. I think you all know that. He's a model citizen. He's a model leader when it comes to what we all should be trying to be an example of. He leads that for us, and I think that anybody would not argue in that. On behalf of all the coaches, Coach Reynolds, and Greyhounds here and everywhere, I want to say thank you and best of luck in the future. Coach Reynolds. Okay, at this time, please look in the insert that you have in your program. You know, we run into a good problem right then. We made this insert, and we started saying, hey, so-and-so's not on there, so-and-so's not on there. And I was like, oh, no, but then that's a good thing because that means we had a ton more people that we need to represent. So even if they're not on this sheet, please let me know at the end of the day or end of the time here, and let's get it put on there. And or you can kind of stand up as if I don't call them. But these kids need to be recognized. What this is any kid that has a 3.5 or higher that is a student athlete, we wanted to start recognizing them, okay? And the reason for that, for me, it's about time management. It's about these student athletes giving us everything they have on the field and off the field. So we thought it was only fair that we started recognizing them, especially after the year that we've had with virtual and hybrid and all this, for these kids to still stay academically superior. I don't know the best word to say that, but all these kids will have a 3.5 or higher and still competing this year in athletics. Ms. Bunch, can you step forward, please? Ms. Bunch is going to help me in representing these kids. And, guys, when I call your name, if you're here, please step forward, okay? Miss Lucy Hernandez. What do you think about you, Lucy? Jacayla Dixon. And please stay up here with you, Jacayla. Grace Fain. Amarani Gomez. Mikhail Johnson. Mary Saunders. Saunders. Emily Jackson. Emily Addington. Keely Henderson. Elena Wood. Macy Faust. Jamia Morgan. Sophie Falwell. Lexi Harp. Jamila Calamise. Ailey Fields. Shaylee Elliott. JC Tarwater. Jalen Chapman. Deanna Hernandez. Please add these to the bottom. Lexi Bradley. And Jasmine Dalton. Like I said, this was a good problem to have. Lindley Carlton. And Jessica Allen. Thank you. You think we ought to let them sit down and have the boys up first, or we want to see everybody? Everybody? Okay. Girls, y'all can have a seat. Thank you. I was trying to get all of it. Okay, for the boys. Arthur Bain. Colin Hill. Malachi Gates. Karan Lewis. Weston Henderson. Chris Reynolds. Isaiah Kendall. Reese Kiefner. I got him. Thank you. CJ Elliott. Eli Alcorn. Jeremiah Godare. Antoine Hardaway. Jaden Godare. Josh Drennan. Noah Curtis. Here's your add-ons. Will Keaty. Tyler Johnson. And Jackson Gates. All right, thank you, boys. Thank you, Miss Bunch. There you go. Thank you so much. Okay, like always, we'll get tennis going first, Coach Gates. And then as Coach Gates gets done, the next presenter can step up and present their award. All right, Coach Gates.
Newport High School tennis team has had success the last 5 seasons, and we've had kids qualify for the state tournament. And tennis is one of those sports that's a lot like golf, whereas if you're not used to playing it, if you've never really played it, it could take a while to catch on. A lot of times, they learn how to play when they're little and when they're maybe in the country club or something like that in that circuit. But we've got a few players on our team this year that qualified for state. And we're always trying to get new talent and get them out there and train them. But when I call your name, Newport High School tennis team, please stand. Malachi Gates. And then right now, Malachi is working hard to memorize his lines for Seymour for Little Shop of Horrors this Friday and Saturday night. So he's not here. Jackson Gates. And Jalen Frazier. Jaron Frazier. Jaquarius Bill Williams. And we had Grace Fain in girls. And while they're still standing, I want to just mention that we did have some accomplishments, and we do have all-conference patches that we'll be getting in and medals that we've ordered for our all-conference players. Malachi Gates, all-conference. Jackson Gates in doubles, all-conference. Jalen Frazier, all-conference this season. Jackson and Jalen Frazier were a doubles team, our number 1 doubles team, who went on to play in the state tournament, and Malachi Gates made it to the second round of the state tournament. We're proud of these guys and their accomplishments. We have no seniors on the team, so they'll be back next year. Would you give them a hand?
First, I would like to thank the Newport Country Club and the Village Creek for allowing us to play on their course. I would like to also thank Alton for coming out in the blazing heat and taking pictures with me. The Booster Club, NHS and NES faculty and administration. We had such a great season. Golf is one of those that you just have to start young and then prolong it and keep going. It's a lifelong sport. It was an honor to coach these students. Will Keaty is returning. He'll be a senior next year. I have to ask Will about golf sometimes. He's very knowledgeable. If this kid can play. Will, you can stand up. Reese Kiefner, he's returning next year. He's not too far. Him and Will are neck and neck. And then Jackson Gates, please stand. Jackson had never played golf before, so he was new and he learned very quick. We got him a set of clubs and he came out there swinging. It was awesome. I'd like to also Mary Sanders, please stand up. All right, Mary came out with one of the girls. We had a team. I enjoyed these kids so much. Next, I'd like to move on to my seniors. Jessica Allen. I've known this girl since I moved here. She's like one of my own. It was an honor to coach her. She's my senior. And then Lindley Carlton. Lindley also, I've known her since I moved here, and those two girls, you never know what we got each match, did we? They were so great. We kept laughing the whole time. and you guys will be missed. Jessica, please come forward. All right, you guys can sit down. My senior award was hard to choose from because both of these young ladies mean so much to me. Jessica babysits my kids. I've known her for 14 years. She's like when I say one of my own, she's one of my own, and I'm going to miss you next year. My senior award goes to Jessica Allen.
Thank you, Coach. Congrats to all our athletes out there, especially the parents. You guys had the most fun of all of us. You get to do all the worrying and everything else that goes into it. And like Colonel Jones pointed out to me earlier, I'm the oldest guy up here, so I get to have my senior moments. Coach Heinley says we could talk till 10 o'clock, so set your clock. Here we go. This year's rifle team, very unique. We are the smallest team that competes in rifle across the state. We compete against all the big dogs, Fort Smith, North Little Rock, Sheridan, all of them. We're the smallest one that goes out there. But it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And we put up a good fight, year in and year out. So we have a lot to be proud of this year. If the team would please stand, the rifle team please stand. There's not a whole lot of them. When we go there, they got busloads just keep pouring out. When we get there, we've got this, but we can deal with them. We got Jasmine, Xander, Seth, Sky, Maddie, Matt, Eli, Braden's hiding back here somewhere. Yeah, stand up, Braden, dude. You can do push-ups tomorrow. Okay? But this is what we got to compete against all the big dogs. And year in, year out, we do a very good job, and we're very competitive. Have a seat, please. I have one senior this year. Now, he goes by many names, MC Hammer, Matty Matt. All right? But one thing about this senior, which is Matt Corbridge, he didn't win state. He didn't set any school records. Didn't set the range on fire. Didn't put his eye out either, which is important in this kind of sport that we play. But Matt was always there. He's my 4-year guy. I've only had 4 since I've been here. I've been here for 21 years. He's the 4th one I've had that's competed for 4 years. That's an accomplishment in itself. Through his team effort and his spirit, by far, Matt is my senior award winner for this year. Matt Corbridge, please. Don't go nowhere. That fast. Matt gets to take home a rifle provided by the NRA. Now don't take it home and shoot your eye out, Matt. All right, now for some even bigger news. Our precision team. This year's precision team consists of Jasmine Dalton, Seth Morales, Eli Murphy, and Xander Kane. Now these are the nicknames. They all get nicknames. Jasmine's T-Bone, Seth is C-Mo, Eli is the Murph, and Xander's the X-Man. They all answer to that name. I call them by their usual name, they don't ask me for some reason. If they'd please come forward. I get to torture these guys for a little bit now. This year's competition, the state competition, again, our number one nemesis, the usual Fort Smith North Side. Now, Fort Smith has got more kids in their ROTC program than we have in our whole high school, 6 through 12. That tells you something about the size of their school. And they're going to get more next year. But again, It's not the size of the dog in the fight, the size of the fight in the dog. And these guys here are examples. We shot a team score this year of 2236 out of 2,400. Very good. Jasmine shot a 591.1 school record. Seth shot a 533, Eli a 544, and Xander shot a 567. Seth shot a school record 103 in the prone position. Of course, 2 matches later, Jasmine beat it. Jasmine set a school record of 298.7 out of 300 at Fort Smith. She lit their day up again. And she also won with a state and school record of a 207 in the prone position, which is a state and school record once again. Xander here is the youngest one we have. Not the youngest in all the teams, but he's the youngest that we have. So with his age group coming up, we're looking pretty good. Eli, as you can tell, he's one of the twins. If Eli and Jasmine turn around real quick, you see what I mean. That's what everybody else. Where's the twins at? Oh, they're over there somewhere. You'll see them when they get on the firing line. And Eli helped push us over the top. With that, I present to you your 2021 State Air Rifle Precision Champion. And with that comes a little bit of hardware. Take it up, put your ring on it. You ain't got to get it off. You do push-ups with it. They've also got a plaque in there that says Top Gun for State Championship from us. This is one of the best teams I've ever had. And they have really showed their medal out there on the range this year. And Fort Smith knows it. All 4 of these are coming back next year. So Fort Smith is very nervous to say the least. Last but not least, thanks to Coach Hinesley being quick on the draw, we get to hang another banner in the gym. I get the banner back. Now you gotta find it. All right, you gotta have a seat. All right. So much for the rifle team. Now it's my turn. Like Eddie said, I'm the old man up here, so I get the senior moments and stuff. But as Coach Hinesley remarked earlier with Coach Reynolds and I, we're both at 21 years. I get to step out. I'm done with coaching rifle and ROTC. Don't sweat. Got a good replacement lined up. Jimmy Johnson's coming from Harrisburg. So we'll keep rolling. But keep in mind, this is what we have. As I say goodbye to the Greyhound team, we've had 6 individual or 6 state championship teams, 8 individual championships. Again, I emphasize the smallest school competing, and a special thanks to Mr. Bunch and Dr. Bennett, our superintendents. They give so much support to the rifle team in more ways than you can imagine, especially helping with the NRA grant. Thank you very much. To the school board and the faculty, and most of all, to the parents and you, the Greyhound kids. You are super. Believe me, you are super. And I want to say a special thanks to the parents, as we don't do things like the other teams do. We usually shoot on Saturdays, and we come in late Saturday night, so they pick them up at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. But Friday and Saturday nights, they're there to pick them up, and they support them. And I thank you and appreciate that. So please keep it up for the next guy. Another thanks to the NRA for the rifle and the other rifles that they bought for us. They bought some special equipment, some scope stands and mats, and they bought us about $15,000 worth of some super rifles, which the precision team will attest to. So will Fort Smith, because we beat them with them. And with that, with the rifles, that really put us over the top. And hopefully with these guys coming back next year, we can remain in the championship race in the future. And with the caliber shooters we have right here, we ought to be looking good. Last but not least, one more thank you. You got me, and that's my turn to get you. Colonel Jones, 21 years, has always made the time and the effort to give me the available students, the equipment, and the time to go shoot, practice, and make the matches. Never failed. Anytime we needed something, he had to help. He was in there. His support was immeasurable, and as we work on the Newport team being the premier state team, Colonel Jones still being here next year, the next guy, you guys are going to be in great shape. So to Colonel Jones, thank you for being my mentor, most of all for being my friend. God bless. Go Hounds.
First of all, I would like to thank the admin, Coach Hinsley, the Booster Club for everything they've done for the cheer program. Coach Akins and Coach Williams over here. Anytime my kids were sick, which seems to happen a lot, they would always step in on Friday nights to help me out. Usually, my husband's the one up here having to do all this, and he's always thanking me, so I'm going to thank him this time. He's not a lot of help during football season, but tryout season and at the end of basketball season, he was stuck with the kids all night, so thanks for that, and Coach Frost helped him as well. So coming in to a squad, just taking over, brand new, not really knowing the girls is always tough, but with COVID, it definitely made things harder on us. There was a lot of things we weren't able to do right off the bat. We kind of were low on numbers, but we got to add two very valuable members to our squad late in the summer, Ailey Fields and Abby Nation. So if you guys could stand up. They picked up very quickly on everything that the girls taught them. Mia Morgan, Mikkel Johnson, Emily Jackson, and JC Tarwater were always able to help them. You guys stand up. Shaylee Elliott, she was like my right-hand girl. I could always count on her to come up with dances and do all the videos. They hated getting videoed to teach everything, but she was always willing to do that. Two of my seniors, Sadie Rudd and Brianna Pruitt-Cox. Stand up, Bri, I see you back there. These two seniors, they were our flyers, and if anybody's ever cheered before, you can imagine how scary that position is, but they were always willing to try whatever we asked them to do. Bree was our basket girl. She wanted to fly all the time in baskets. Macy Faust, she agreed to be hyped for one game, and I guess she kind of fell in love with it because she's now our permanent mascot forever until she graduates. I also want to recognize the 4 new freshmen that we have added to our team for next year. Keely Henderson, Olivia Haywood, Ella Howard, and Madison Mahan. These girls had tryouts on a Thursday, and 2 days later were cheering at their very first senior high basketball game because we finally got to cheer at the end of basketball season. My senior award goes to Luciana Hernandez. I could always count on her to do whatever I asked, whether it was teaching a dance or a cheer or filling in for multiple spots in stunt groups. She always has the best attitude at practices, at games, and she was a very great leader for our squad. Thank you.
Hello. First off, I want to thank Mr. Bunch and Miss Bunch for supporting the athletics and always answering all my 101 questions, and to Coach Hinsley and to our principals here at NHS, because they've had my back in situations and had the girls' back in a lot of situations this past year. With COVID announcement making it on the day of tryouts, it was up in the air if the girls that made it would even have anything to do. They toughed through it. Nothing seemed to go right at first. We had a fitting that wasn't a fitting, turned out to be a fitting, all over a phone call with our rep. They got to do a home camp, but it was virtual, looking at a computer screen on a Zoom meet with sketchy internet here and there. But they, in the process, learned 3 routines that they got to perform throughout the year. And the majority of them earned the All-American nominee position. So, ladies, as I call your name, please stand up to be recognized. I have sophomores, All-American nominee Jemiah Brown. All-American Jacob August. All-American nominee Deanna Hernandez. Miss Brooklyn Jarrett. All-American Guidance Stewart. All-American Ty Watkins. All-American Beyonce Wren. And to my seniors, I had 2 lovely seniors that I got the honor of working with this year. Miss Connie Smith and All-American nominee Elena Wood. Thank you, ladies. So Connie has been with me for the last year, and she was nervous at first, didn't know if she wanted to go through with tryouts, but showed up, done a great job during tryouts, worked really hard all summer, and I got to see her grow not only as a dancer, as a student, as a young lady. Her drive and passion showed through her senior year, and I'm very proud of her, and I wish her the best in everything that she does going forward. Elena, I have had the privilege of coaching you for 2 years. Elena was a shy kid that I knew as the cheer sister. I coached her older sister on the cheer team a few years ago. Elena, you wouldn't have thought that she had the passion for dance she did. She shows out, she goes home and she works, and she supports her teammates. She's always the one that had the positive comment to be made to support the others. She's going to be definitely missed. My senior award goes to someone who puts others above themselves, a leader on and off the sidelines, works hard at every practice, game, performances in the classroom, and always put the team above her own wants. This year, it goes to Miss Elena Wood.
We had a really good year in track this year. It's a sport that I really think that Newport could dominate in if we had a little more interest. We've got some great athletes here that I got out for the first time that qualified for state tomorrow, so that's a good deal there. We had 10 kids place in events last week in district. We had 5 that qualified for state, and if you're here and I call your name, please stand up. Kieron Childress, Chris Young, Isaiah Kendall, and Kylan Cright. Okay. All those young men qualified for state tomorrow. We're taking 5 down to Prescott tomorrow. Those guys are going to have to get up at 5 a.m. to go run tomorrow, so that should be a good time. Kylan Cright, you can go ahead and have a seat, CJ. Colin Cright, as far back as I can look in the mile split, he's the first sophomore that we've had that has won a district high point. He won district with a high jump, clearing 6'4", and ran a 200, winning there at the time of 23.24. If you know anything about those times or jumps at track, you'll know that's phenomenal for a sophomore. He'll have a chance to win a state championship tomorrow. So like I said, all those young men qualified for state. I only had one senior this year, and he just happened to be my hardest worker. I'm really going to miss him. The one thing I do regret, my first year doing track, I've never thrown a shot in disc in my life, so I think he taught me a lot more about that than I could teach about him or teach to him. That guy is Tyler Johnson. You have to see. Tyler's also going to win my senior award, obviously. He barely missed going to state in both shot and disc. There's a lot of athletes participating tomorrow that he actually threw further than, but due to the fact of who we had in our conference, it just didn't work out. But he's a super hard worker, and I know he'll succeed at whatever he does later in life.
All right. Well, we are also had a very successful season. We're going tomorrow morning. We're leaving real early. He's lucky he doesn't drive. So that's on me at 5 a.m. That's what I get for having the old CDL. All right. I'm very proud of all these young ladies. Each girl that I had was so eager to learn, even if they had never done it before. Because, I had one girl do a high jump, and she's like, I don't know how to high jump. And I was like, well, YouTube it. And she did it, and we, got better and better. But I would like to recognize these young ladies. Kaylee Cox, she's 9th grade. She runs the 4x1, high jump, triple jump, and the 400. Leila Henderson, 4x1, long jump, 400, 800. And then Jermelia Calamise, Mimi, does the 4x1, long, 100 meter, and 200. Camila Rucker, sorry. I always get it wrong. 4x1, 100, 200 shot and disc. Grace Fain, 4x1, 100, 200, 400, 800 mile long jump, triple jump. Yeah. Jemiah Brown, she did shot and disc. Guidance Stewart, shot, disc, and high jump. Stand up, Guidance. Stand up. Right, there you go. Mary Sanders, 800, 400 and mile. I would like to thank the Booster Club. I would also like to acknowledge the 4x1 teams going tomorrow, and that is, please stand up, Camilla, Jermelia, Leila, and Grace. And we don't have any seniors, so we're all returning next year. Thank you.
This is actually kind of a surreal moment for me. I've grown up coming to these things since I was 5 years old. I think my parents usually dropped me off in the back with a plate of hush puppies and French fries and kind of left me with a random. So it's kind of funny how it's all come full circle. I remember back then looking up here at all the players and all the coaches and dreaming that might be me one day. So I was going to thank Coach Hinesley and Mr. Bunch and administration for allowing me to be a Newport Greyhound once again. So it was an honor and privilege. Thank you, guys. A lot of other thank yous. I want to thank Johnny Long and Tristan Mount out there at George Kell Park. We're very fortunate to have them. I talked to a lot of other coaches, and they've got to rake their fields and mow and that kind of stuff. We do not have to do that, so it's a blessing. Johnny McGuire, who runs our junior high softball program, is very important to us in our building and our culture. Of course, Hoyt. And then Coach Billingsley, I was able to lean on him quite a bit, and sharing space and that kind of thing made it work really easy. Also want to thank our assistant coaches, a couple of amazing assistant coaches, Coach Chelsea Golden. Make sure we're always taken care of. She was the keeper of the snack bag, so she was our most important coach. She also checked on everyone, including me, so she was the only one to go, KP, you okay? I always said yes, but Coach Golden, it was usually no, I'm not okay. But appreciate you checking on me, Coach Golden. Josh Nation, one of our other assistant coaches, he was the guy who'd call me up at 12 o'clock or 12 a.m. in the morning and go, hey, this girl we need to run this drill here, do this here. So always made me start thinking outside the box. So thanks, Coach Josh Nation, for doing that and the late night calls. All of our softball players, girls, stand up. We'll make each one of you talk. So. I'm kidding. There you go. This is a group, kind of a unique group. We had just a few experienced players, and we had to go do some recruiting, hit the lunchrooms, hit the hallways, and get a few more to help us make a team. We ended up around 11 or 13 this year. In this group, we could have made every excuse in the world. We didn't have a season last year. We don't have experience. We're too young. We had a freaking blizzard, if y'all remember, during the week, and lost a week of practice. So we could have made every excuse, but we instead decided to grind it out, work, and keep better and get better, and that's what this group of girls did. We didn't quite meet our goals. We set some lofty goals. You guys can sit down. Thank you. I know you don't want to stand there the whole time. Set some lofty goals. Want to make regionals, fell just short. Ended up with 6 wins. We only lost 4 of our games by 1 run, so we really could have had a really good season. That did include 2 conference wins. One against Harding Academy. Always good to beat those guys. And I think someone told me it's the most wins we've had probably in like 4 or 5 years. So good job, guys. I was proud of you for that. And also, probably in my opinion, we played in one of the toughest softball conferences, not only in 3A, probably in the state of Arkansas. The number 8 team in our conference, number 8, beat a number 1 seed out of another conference handedly. So that just tells you how tough our conference is, and we beat that number 8 team, by the way. So I guess lucky us, we got in that conference. But very proud of our girls. The good news, we got better. We grinded it out. We learned to push each other. We learned to encourage each other. We came together as a team. I felt like we were playing our best at the end, and that's always unfortunate because it's over. I wish we could kept playing, but very proud of them. And this team's going to keep bringing some consistency and set a foundation for future teams in the future. And it's all started by this 2021 team. This is a team that does not have any seniors, but I have 4 kind of individual awards to give just out of our softball program. The first one is our offensive award, and this junior led us in every offensive category except for one. She was actually number 2 in hitting in the conference. She hit .661. That's .661, guys. That's incredible. 710 on base percentage and 14 extra base hits. She had 2 bombs, and they were blast. I saw her in the dugout after one game, and she was kind of throwing her helmet, putting stuff in her bag, hurrying. You could tell she was aggravated. I go, what's wrong with you? I only went 2 for 4 today, Coach. You kidding me? I wish I could go 2 for 4 every time. But our offensive award goes to Abby Nation. Also got a defensive award. This is a sophomore, third baseman. She started last year as a freshman. Unfortunately, we only get like a game and a half out of the way. But if you know anything about softball, you usually put that hard-nosed player there at third because sometimes you move them up really close and balls are getting to you really quickly. You also got to react to bunts and things like that. And she does a phenomenal job for us defensively at third base. I don't think she made an error in our final 7 games. And we actually pitched the hitters to hit her way because we know she's going to take care of things. But our defensive award goes to Emily Jackson. All right, now to our most improved. Goes to another sophomore. This sophomore went for our first 11 games with only 1 hit. Came to me and said, Coach, what I need to do to get in, what I need to do to get better. We told her, and she did it. She ended up the season, the final 7 games, I think 10 hits. I think led us in stolen bases, just was phenomenal for us at the end of the season. And the most improved award goes to Mia Morgan. And finally, we got an MVP award, and it kind of circumferences everything: hitting, fielding, leadership, that sort of thing. And this player, I kind of looked at and I said, if we took her off the team, removed her, what kind of team would it be? It'd have been tough. She was our pitcher. I looked it up. She threw 1,428 pitches. So she pitched every single varsity pitch for us this year, faced 520 batters. We kind of make little pitching goals for her. So out of the 19 games, she met those 17 times. And then she also, by the way, hit like 397, about 8 extra base hits. But our MVP goes to sophomore Emily Addington. And then finally for our conference and state awards, these are hot off the press. Just found these out today. And I'll start with second team all conference. You guys can stand up. Emily Jackson. Jalen Chapman. Keely Henderson. I'm moving too much. And ZZ Worsham. ZZ here. All conference goes to Emily Addington. And then we've got a second team all state, and all conference goes to Abby Nation.
How y'all doing, Newport? Y'all all right? I want to be quick, because I don't like the mic don't like me. I need my baseball family to stand up. Hey, y'all remain standing with me. Big Abel. Hey, first I want to thank God, and second I want to thank Coach Hansi for giving me that opportunity. Y'all don't know how much this means to me, but I'm going to get right to it. So first, I'm going to go off my all-conference. Second team all-conference, Jeremiah, go there. Second team all-conference, Chris Young. First team all-conference, Will Keaty. And Chris Reynolds, he made second team all-state and first team all-conference. With that being said, also Arthur Bainey's not here, one of my seniors. Him and Chris Reynolds were my only 2 seniors. And my senior award goes to Chris Reynolds.
I'm sorry if you can't see me. It's a big podium. First off, I would like to say thank you to Samantha Akins, Lisa Haygood, and Coach Hinsley for helping me out this season a lot. This is my first year at Newport, and I've enjoyed it so much, and those 3 people have really helped me get my feet underneath me and have helped me push along throughout the season, especially Coach Hinsley, because we actually had an altercation during a game where our net broke. And so we had to have some rope and some special knots, and we made it work. The net is fixed now, so it's all good. First, I would like to have all of my volleyball players stand up when I say your name. Alexis Bradley. Luciana Hernandez. Sophie Falwell, Abby Nation, Deanna Hernandez, Mikhail Johnson, Jakaiva Gist, Emily Addington, Amarani Gomez, and Jamia Morgan. All right, you guys can sit down. I would like to mention that we received the AAA Integrity and Sportsmanship Award, so I'm really proud of that, so good job, girls. To just give a basic sum up of the season, it was kind of a big question mark. Coming in, I met all of the girls before we even had tryouts. We did workouts over the summer, and I'm sure the girls were like, daggum, we hadn't even made the team yet, and we all got to work out. But it was a great time for me to get to know them and for them to get to know me. Anytime you have a new coach come into your program, there's always the question of what is she like? How is she going to coach me? Am I going to like her? And I want to say that I truly not just appreciate all of my girls, but I like and love all of them. And feel like I've grown super close to all of them, and I feel like that's important as a coach to not only want to coach your students and your athletes, but want to understand them as well as people. And I feel like I really do. This past year, the girls have decided that their team motto would be, no excuses, just be better. And that motto can come across a little harsh. But when I asked the girls, what does that motto mean to you? They said that there should never be a reason to not strive to be your best. And another girl said, you should push yourself harder instead of giving in to your negative thoughts. And I feel like that's something that they not only carry on the court with them every single day in practice, but something that they can carry on throughout their life. And so I'm proud of that motto that they have chosen for themselves. I had two all conferences this season, and the first one goes to a team captain. She is a hard worker, not only just in everyday practice, but through injuries as well. There was one time I had to give her a piggyback out to her car because her knee was messed up, and we had to get her in there somehow. And it's somebody who's also a supportive teammate, and that goes to Sophie Falwell. My second all-conference is going to someone who literally has a smile on her face all the time. And I think that she's the type of person who makes the best out of any situation, no matter how bad it be. She is what you would call the true definition of a team leader and a team player, and that goes to Luciana Hernandez. I had two seniors this year. My first senior is Alexis Bradley. Alexis, go ahead and stand up. If you want to look in the dictionary and look up what the true definition of a student athlete is, you'll find Lexi's picture there, because she is one of the most hardworking kids I've ever met, not only in the gym but in the books as well. She always would come up to me and ask me, what can I do to be better? What can I do to better myself, not only for myself, but for my team? She was always worried about the team. And sometimes I had to tell her, Lexi, you just got to chill out a little bit. You got to take it off your shoulders sometimes and just roll with it. And she is a really hard worker, and I'm super proud to have known her and to have worked with her as a coach. So good job, Lexi. My second senior is Luciana Hernandez. Lucy, like I said, is someone who is just amazing. She's super encouraging and uplifting, and I really wish she could be here with us tonight. So if you're watching, Lucy, we're all thinking about you and love you. So, good job.
Okay, first off, I want to start by giving a big thank you to our administration for all the help that they have given us and really everybody. We truly have some of the greatest people here that really care about us and our athletes and our sports in general, and they go out of their way all day, every day to make sure that we get the help we need and that everything is going smoothly. And I'd like to thank Hoyt for always following us around and helping us out with wrapping ankles and driving us places and, you know, just being the Dr. Hoyt that he is. Coach Williams for keeping the clock for us. It's really hard to get people to help us out during basketball games, so if anybody wants to help run the clock, hit up Coach Gates and Coach Hinesley. We're looking for people every game. And to Bobby for keeping the book for us. I'd also like to thanks Coach Jasmine and Coach LeVar for helping out with our Pee Wee program and getting that up and going. That is a huge factor in the success of our basketball program here. Coach Gates and I started that 4 years ago when we got here, and I've seen a tremendous difference in the athletes that we have now versus when we did not have a Pee Wee program. So we are very grateful for all the hard work and dedication that they put in for what little recognition and everything they get for that. And I'd also like to thanks Coach Gates because, you know, he's just the best. He's the man. You know, if you know him, you know. Okay. For all the help, he's helped me big time since I've been here coming into this just fresh out of college, and he's really been an impact on me. I'm going to go ahead and introduce the team. So when I say your name, please stand up and please remain standing until I get done talking, okay, or tell you to sit down, I guess. First, we have our team captain and senior, Hilda Price. We have another team captain and senior, Jakayla Dixon. The junior, Grace Fain. Sophomore, Mikhail Johnson. Freshman, Tahara Davis. Freshman, Leela Henderson. And freshman, Zizi Worsham. Now, we are obviously small in numbers, but let me tell you, these girls have the biggest heart and the hardest work ethic that I've seen. We graduated a large number of girls last year, but all of these girls stepped in. This year, they were awarded the AAA Integrity and Sportsmanship Award. They showed that every single game, no matter what was going on, they always had the best sportsmanship and the best attitude. So I'm so grateful to have these girls that have stepped up and had a great year. Okay, good job, girls. Good job. So like I mentioned just a second ago, we did graduate 6 girls last year. So these 2 seniors that we have, Hilda and Jakayla, honestly held a lot on their back this year, stepping into a role where they're having to work with some freshmen who have never experienced the high school level of talent. But they were great leaders, great motivators, and they always helped each other out, and I was really proud of them. These 2 seniors stepped up, and they were our leading scorers this year. They were leaders on and off the court, especially academically. They're both great student athletes. These girls never gave up, and they always worked hard. As a team, we had a GPA of a 3.75, and I was really proud of that. I think we had 1 girl maybe under 3.5, if that. So out of all 7, every single one of them had above a 3.0. I have 2 all-conference awards. First all-conference goes to one of our point guards. I have watched her grow from a 9th grader to a senior now, and she did a lot of hard work on the court out there, having to handle the basketball in one of the toughest basketball conferences around in girls basketball. 4 of the teams we play all made it to the state tournament. It did really well, and our first all-conference recipient did a great job of handling the pressure. She was our leader in assists and steals. She was a great defensive presence on the floor. So our first all-conference goes to Hilda Price. Our second all-conference goes to our post player. She was by far one of the best post players in our conference. She was probably the strongest and what I could describe as one of the quickest post players in the conference. I had multiple referees tell me in the middle of the game, I've never seen a post player that has the quickest feet as she does. Okay, and that's a great compliment, honestly, coming from somebody who's having to in there battle girls that are taller than her. But she held her own underneath there. She was our leading scorer and our rebounder. So our second all-conference award goes to Jacayla Dixon. Let me tell you, these two girls are two of the most special girls I've met since I've been here. They drove all the way to Searcy over the weekend to help me with my daughter's birthday party. And of course, they showed up early, so I put them to work, and I had to put everything together. They put all the fruit trays together for me, put the cakes out. It was great. I didn't have to do anything. Okay, I mean, I should have hired them a long time ago. They're two great kids. And I'm really just been blessed to be able to be a part of all of these girls' lives and to really just have been able to get to know Jacayla and Hilda. They truly are two special girls. So now we're going to get to our senior award. Okay, this award goes to someone who was described by her teammates as someone who worked hard and never gave up in the games. She worked hard this season. She always had a good attitude all season throughout practice and never discouraged anyone. For the last 4 years, I've watched this girl grow as a freshman, and it's completely night and day from when I first had her to now. She has improved significantly, and I wish she'd go play college basketball, but she told me no. We'll see about that. I still got coaches asking me about her. I'm still working on that. If anybody wants to help me out, y'all get in her ear, please. Okay? So our senior award goes to Jacayla Dixon.
But I tell you what, this basketball team this year made not only our school proud, but our community proud. I had the chance to see a lot of people I didn't even know come out to the games, and some folks I didn't know liked basketball came out and supported. And in the community, whether it was at Walmart or at the courthouse or wherever you're at, I'd see people say, you know, great year, man, great year, great team. It's exciting following you guys, watching you on Cable 15. And so it was very, very good to just be able to ride that wave. And I'll tell you, these guys that we have are just a special group of guys. And so whenever I call your name, Stan, this is the 2020-2021 Newport basketball team. Chris Reynolds, Jarius Dean, Omar King, Jerry Woods, Theron Davis, Jabrian Marshall, Rodney Johnson, Malachi Gates, Jalen Frazier, Jaron Frazier, Isaiah Kendall, Colin Cright, C.J. Young, Noah Curtis, D.J. Marshall, and our manager, Jaquarius Williams, and our two assistant coaches, Jack Clark and Coach LeVar Neal. All right, you guys can be seated, except the seniors. Seniors, stay standing if you would. Yeah, this team this year was 20-5, conference champs, district tournament champions, regional runners-up. made it to the state tournament. Well, it's hard to talk about that state tournament game. Everybody here knows it, so I won't say a word about it. But I will say that this team has made this community very, very proud. They've accomplished something this year that hasn't been done in 40 years. 1981 to 2021. It's the last time that they were both conference champs and district tournament champs. You guys will always be remembered as one of Newport's best basketball teams. And I'll say this, all good coaches have one thing in common, and that is they have good players, period. And you guys are good players, and you guys made it happen. Would you give these seniors another hand? All right, while they're standing, I just want to talk just briefly about each one of them. I can remember my senior year and the coach, what he said about me, and so I hope you can remember what I say about you 20 years later. But I want to talk first about Rodney Johnson. Rodney Johnson's been a basketball player since I coached this group. I came here when they were in 8th grade. These guys were in 8th grade. Rodney was tall, quick, hard worker. There was something I saw in Rodney, and I said, I got to keep him around. I mean, there's no telling how tall he's going to get. And, so anyway, Rodney is the guy that always kept the score in practice, in the drills. If we're shooting, we got to make, 30 in a minute or whatever the case, I would say, Rodney, how many we got? 19. Or if I'd say we got 21, he'd say we got 23, Coach. He always knew the score, and I was proud of Johnson. And I'll tell you this year, Rodney came out as a senior, and I thought that some of the other guys were giving him a hard time, Jarius and Jerry in preseason. But we had preseason games scheduled before football was over with, so we could just kind of get these guys some playing time. Because, first day of school until who knows how far the football team will go, So we thought, man, we'll just get a few games in. We got enough guys to play. And Rodney went out there as our starting post player, played hard, rebounded well. We beat some good teams in preseason, too, with just the basketball kids. Rodney is a big part of that. But I can remember going up to Jarius and saying, man, you guys are giving him a hard time. They'd get on him hard in practice. And he said, Coach, we're going to have him now. And I said, well, you're right. So, but anyway, Rodney Johnson played the post for us this season. When he didn't foul out, well, he got after it pretty good. He's a very, very physical player. I'll never forget Rodney Johnson on this team. Not only was he a strong player for us this season and a great practice player throughout the year, but he's also got a bright future ahead of him. He's one of the guys that's always a yes, sir, and no, sir type of a guy who's a hard worker, has a hard work ethic, not only in school but also out of school. So I appreciate Rodney. I want to say something about Theron Davis. Theron Davis, I'll always remember this about Theron. He's one of the best finishers. And when I say a finisher, I mean he knew how to get to the basket, and he knew how to get contact and finish. You hear the guys say, and one. Well, he was one of those guys that really got an and one. I hear that stuff in practice all the time, and I think, that's not a foul. But, Theron, for sure, he would get and ones. He would get to the basket when we needed it. In fact, last year, when this team really turned a corner last season, when we won 20 games and made it to the regional tournament, was district runners-up, Theron led us in scoring against Rivercrest in that regional game, and it was because he knew how to get to the basket. He'd jump in the air, he'd take contact, he'd bend his body, and then he'd finish. I'll never forget that about Theron Davis. Appreciate Theron being able to coach him all these years. Truly an athlete. Would you give him a hand? And I want to let's talk about Jerry Woods. I was super proud to have Jerry Woods moved in here from Jonesboro, and we appreciate having a guy like Jerry. When he came last year to be a part of this Newport Greyhound basketball team, immediately everyone who saw him play said, that's a defender. He's a defender. He takes pride in defense. And I'm going to tell you what, he's a coach's player because he's a pass first and a shoot second type of player. He's a team player, played great defense. In fact, I'll never forget this about Jerry Woods. We would always put him on the best player of the opposing team when we played man-to-man, and he would face guard their best player, and we would play gap defense with all the other guys and just play help. But Jerry would face guard, and last year, Cave City had one of the toughest players in the league. Last name was Bell. He's playing at Lyon College now, 6'4", 6'5", and Bell could shoot the three, could drive in. He was hard to match up with, and Jerry's not 6'4". but Jerry face guarded him and shut him down every time we played Cave City. And for that, I'll never forget you, Jerry. Appreciate your defense, your hard work this year. My man Omar King. I want to say Omar King, 5 years ago when I first took the job, Omar was an 8th grader, and the assistant coach that I had was Coach Josh Gooden. And Josh Gooden was my assistant that year. He said something to me about Omar King. He said, Coach, Omar's going to be a player one day. He's going to be a player. He may not be now, but he's going to be a player. I can see it in him. And I'm going to be honest, Omar, don't hold it against me, but I said, Coach, I don't know. I don't know if he'll be a player or not. You know, he's a good kid, but we'll see. But I'm going to tell you what, Coach Gooden made me eat my words, because this year Omar really made a huge jump in his game. He's a hard worker. He worked hard last year in off season, got in the weight room, worked on his shot. He improved his three-point shooting, which we needed from him. He became a starter his senior year this year, and his highlight is in the regional tournament against Rivercrest. We don't beat Rivercrest if it wasn't for him. He had 17 points that game, led us in scoring, and I'll always remember you for that, Omar. Would you give him a hand? And now Jarius Dean, a few things about Jarius. Jarius, he's a 3-year starter for this team, averaged almost 15 points a game for the last 2 seasons for us. He's a go-to player for us. I'll never forget last year's game against Bald Knob when we drew up the play at home to beat a Bald Knob Bulldog team, a good team, and we were down and we needed a bucket. And I called 4 flat, and I said, get the ball to Jarius. If you've seen the clip, because Alfonso, I know, has put the clip out there on Facebook, they show the clip. Cable 15 was recording it, and I can remember Hayden Schultz saying, they got to go to Darnell Beard. He's talking about Darnell Beard. Never one time heard Jarius' name in that clip until Jarius gets it and makes the dish to Darnell Beard. But here's what Jarius did. In the huddle, we called it up. I said, guys, we're going to inbound it in the back court. I didn't expect Bald Knob to press. And so if you see the clip, you'll see us kind of scrambling to get the ball inbounds. No timeouts left, so we couldn't call another timeout and draw up something. But I just knew somebody's going to get open, we'll get to Jarius and set it up. And that's exactly what happened. Theron had cut and got it, gave it to Jarius. We went 4 flat. Jarius dribbles till about the 4-second mark. I'm getting nervous on the sideline. They double-teamed Jarius. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that they left the post, which was Darnell, and came to double-team. And Jarius, you made the right play. You wanted to take the shot. I knew everybody in the gym knew you was going to take that shot. But instead, he made that pass, and Darnell caught it and scored. I'll never forget that play. He's a guy we always wanted to put the ball in his hand at the end of the game. And for that, I will always remember Jarius. He's always been a complete player in basketball, ball handler, a quick shooter. And so I'm proud of you, brother. Would you give him a hand? All right, the last senior we're going to talk about today is Chris Reynolds. Chris Reynolds averaged for this team 15 points, 10 rebounds. One of the most coachable players I've ever coached in 15 years of being a head coach. Coached girls and boys basketball, and he is one of the most coachable players. In fact, I was super surprised. I'll never forget this. After the football team had finished and they came over, we went to Wynn. And we went over to Wynn to play, and they had their football players over too. And they had a couple guys that were about close to our size. One of them matched up pretty good with Chris. But Chris battled that game. And I remember saying to the guys in the huddle, we got to get them in foul trouble because they're just as big as we are. We have got to get them in foul trouble. So I told the guys, let's play inside, outside. Let's move the ball until we can get it inside. Chris, keep working. And I said, Chris, this was at halftime. I said, when you catch it, you turn and pump fake because he's going to jump. I mean, we all jump. We want to get that block, you know. And I said, they win plays just like us. They want to pack your shot. So pump fake, they're going to jump. When they jump, you initiate contact. In basketball, if they jump and you initiate contact, it's not offensive foul, it's a foul on them. He looked at me and said, yes, sir. The first play in the third quarter, he did exactly what I told him to do. I looked at the bench. I said, I've never had a kid do that. He did exactly what I told him to do as we drew it up. I'll never forget that about Chris Reynolds, and everybody and their mom who's in this house today would say, he should have been playing basketball the whole time. And we all know that, and we agree with that. I've seen some good clips of him in junior high. I'll never forget, he put 20 on Tuckerman in junior high. That's a big highlight against a good Tuckerman junior high team back in 9th grade. But we had a chance at Southside Batesville in the district tournament when this crew was 9th graders. And Jarius was hurt that game and was unable to play. Jabrian Marshall had stepped into that role. Eli Alcorn was inbounding the play. I'll never forget it. We had to hit a shot to win. We were down 2. We ran a play to try to get the ball to Theron cutting in to get to the basket, get one of the man ones that he does so well. But I told Eli Alcorn, I said, if they cut Theron off, Chris, after the screen, is rolling to the top of the key. And back then, Chris could shoot that 3. Now, everybody thinks he's just dunker and down low player, but he had a little touch back then. And I said, if he's not open, Eli, hit Chris. Chris, take the shot. We'll go for the win. And we did that, and that shot went to Chris, and it went in and out. And I remember the only thing I ever said to him when he decided not to play basketball his 10th grade year, I said, you don't want the last shot you ever take to be the shot you missed. So I told his daddy, I said, he can leave his Greyhound basketball career knowing that the last shot he ever took was the go-ahead shot against Glen Rose in the state tournament. So appreciate you, Chris. Would you give him a hand? I want to ask if Chris, everybody can sit down. I want to ask if Chris, Jarius, and Jerry Woods would come forward. Just stand here in the front. And Jack Clark, Coach Clark, would you come and help me out, please? Coach Clark. I do have a few awards that we're going to give out to these 3 guys and recognize them. Coach, I do have them in the box at my chair. Let me go ahead and mention these real quickly. And then we'll go ahead and give it to them. Jerry Woods was all conference this season. Would you give him a hand for that? Good job, Jerry. And we'll get that to you in just a second. Jarius Dean, all conference, all region, all state, and named to the 2021 East All-Star team. Jarius Dean. Chris Reynolds, all conference, all region, all state tournament team at Clinton, and best under the sun in Jonesboro. Would you give him a hand? And Coach Clark will give those to you. Guys, stay here. We'll get a picture. And while he's doing that, our senior award this year goes to the glue. The glue. Hayden said he's the glue of this team. He's a guy that I'll tell you, never let one end of the floor dictate the other end of the floor. Omar King. Last thing, I told you there was a lot to say about this team this year, but last thing I just want to say, appreciate all the community support, all the school support. Newport will support you. They'll support a winner. They'll support people that work hard and play hard. We learned that this year. We know that. Special thanks to Cable 15, to our boosters. As Coach Atchley had mentioned for the basketball program, those who helped us at the scores table and ran the clock, helped us with the books. Coach Williams helped us out tremendously. Adam Kane came and helped us out when we needed him to fill in. Mr. Bobby Tucker on the books. Obviously, Trainer Hoyt, my man. I appreciate Trainer Hoyt so much, and drove the bus for us as much as possible. Our faculty, staff, Coach Hinesley having an AD that supports the program is it's just amazing. I thank God for that. Miss Lisa Haywood, who has helped us out as our secretary. But you know, when we went to the state tournament, I said, "Can you book some stuff for us? We got to eat here, eat there." She was on it, and I thank her for that. Mr. Alton Walker always taking pictures and just helping us feel big time, you know, with our pictures on Facebook. And then last but not least, hopefully she's watching, my lovely wife, Jacqueline Gates, who supported a long season, and I thank God for her as well. This is your team, and we thank God for this team. Wonderful job for them as well. They deserve one more hand. Appreciate you guys.
I make out the program every year, and I will not do that again. going after him is so hard. I mean, you got a preacher up here that's, I'm saved. I mean, he got me. It's hard. You know, I didn't think this a while ago. I was going to thank earlier the teacher. It's Teacher Appreciation Week, and I can't thank the teachers enough for what they do. You know, we can talk about academics all day, but teachers, thank you. I should have thanked you earlier. I appreciate everything that you've done for what we do. LeVar, stand up. You know, you can see we're packed in here like sardines. LeVar, you deserve to be up here more than anybody, and you're not. I love you, and I thank you for everything you do. Okay. Same thing with my wife. She's sitting back there. You know, I was in football a while ago, and I asked her and Megan Doyle and Miss Lisa and Janet Henderson. They did everything that you see right here, everything. And so I can't thank them enough for what they did. Mallory, I know you helped with that, and I thank you for all the time that you don't have with me and the kids. I appreciate you. But on that note, thank the coaches, football coaches. You know, as football coaches, we're not around our families a whole lot during football season. And so I can't thank you guys enough for giving your time and doing this game that we love. So I want to thank you guys personally and thank your families for the time that they don't have with us during football season. Bobby Tucker, I know Bobby's not here, but Bobby Tucker, ever since I've been here, this is my 14th year, Bobby Tucker, I mean, who doesn't know Bobby Tucker, right? The man walks around with a belt on with mustard and shoestrings and you name it, and he's always got it. You know, and hey, every year, Coach, you want me to help you again? I'm like, well, sure I do. You know, you got everything we need. You know, so I can't thank him enough. Cheer and Whippet teams and the band, they support us so much. I can't thank them enough for being just the energy that we need when we need it. Randy C. and our press box crew, I can't thank those guys enough. There was a few games that I forgot to remind them, whether it was a text or a phone call, but they're there. I don't ever have to remind them, and I thank those guys for what they do for us. Don McGee and the Gibbs ladies for everything they did in the concession stand. If you know anything about it, if you've ever run a concession stand, that's not easy work, and it's not easy to ask somebody to do it. And those ladies just showed up because they love doing it, believe it or not. So I thank them. Alton Walker, of course, I'm going to thank him twice because he deserves it. Zach Hoyt, I'm going to thank him twice because he deserves it. Dillinger's Funeral Home, they really stepped up this year. All the signs that you saw with all the COVID protocol stuff, that was given by them, and they never say no. I don't know what it is about them, but I've asked them many things over the year, and they have always said yes. So I appreciate them. Megan Doyle and the Booster Club, once again, I'm gonna thank her because they need to thank twice. Tristan Amount and the Chain Gang, once again, sometimes I forget to call him. He's there. He's got the chains ready to go. DB Cable 15, I can't tell you how much you helped us this year to get, because of the limited crowds and getting the Greyhounds still out there. KP, River Country, I can't thank those guys enough for being also that voice, that whatever, that how you can paint a picture and tell about what the Hounds are doing on Friday nights. And pretty much anybody that supported us this year. I know it was a real rocky year as far as who could come to the games, how you came to the games, how you listened to the games, how you watched the games, but you still were there with us, and I appreciate that because that means a lot. Recognize the seniors. I'm not going to ask you to stand like Coach Gates did, but, you know, when he said that a while ago, it's the truth. I remember when I was sitting in my sports banquet, and I remember what my coach said about me, and it still rings in my ears. So I wish I could do the same thing for you. Theron Davis, and like I said, I'm not going to ask you to stand, but Theron is going to be playing on Saturdays from here on out, I hope. And so in Memphis, right over the river with us. So I'm hoping to see him on some TV one day. I know we all do. But I was thinking about these guys as I was, trying to explain to you guys what they meant to us as a team. And I've always, thought about him as Mr. TD, not because his initials are TD, but it's because how many touchdowns have you scored? I know you know. You a lie. You know how many times you scored. 1,000. Let's just say 1,000. All right. This boy has scored more touchdowns than anybody I've ever seen here. His way to get in the end zone is really incredible. Not just speed, but heart to get over the line. So I'm going to call him Mr. TD. Weston Henderson, where's Weston at? He's kind of in the back, isn't he? Weston, I call him Mr. Gritty. And if you know anything, I talk about grit a lot. I think grit's a real important thing for football or for just any boy to become a man has to know about grit. And I call him Mr. Gritty because there was probably, I don't know, more times than not, you got in a fight during football practice most of the time. He was that kid that, you say, go to the whistle, Weston, go to the whistle. He went past the whistle, and it ticked off some kids sometimes. And I can't tell you, and I'm not lying, if football coaches know what I'm talking about, Weston was constantly in the fights, and he's not a fighter, I don't think, but, every week seemed like he was in a fight. I'm having to pull Weston back. Calm down, Weston. But he would always help you up. He would knock you down, but he would help you up. Colin Hill, I call Colin Mr. Come Get Some. If I was going to go to a fight, I'd go pick up Colin Hill, and we go take care of it, okay? Because he was a kid that I thought about he could be Mr. Gritty, but I was like, nah, that dude wanted to fight everybody. So, but he's Mr. Come Get Some. Tyler Johnson, he's Mr. Comeback. If you don't remember, Tyler Johnson broke his ankle about as bad as you can break an ankle his sophomore year. Second play, right? Second or third play of his sophomore season. Horrible injury. Really, really bad. And sitting there with him on the field during that, I thought, man, I don't know if this kid's ever going to come back. I don't. We put so much in, Tyler. If you remember that year, we put so much into off-season and into going into season. I was really expecting great things from Tyler Johnson. Just like that, his ankle not just snapped. It was bad. Never thought Tyler would come back. And then he come back in 17 sacks this year. I can't think how many tackles he had. So you're Mr. Comeback, Tyler. Chris Reynolds is Mr. Everything. I sold him as hard as you could sell to be a tight end. I thought, man, this kid, stand up, Chris. Let's get another look at you. Look at that kid. All right, sit down, please. Thank you. 6'7" 3/4. I don't know what he is, but he is Mr. Everything. It probably helps being a coach's son, but he's very coachable. Chris, I need you to play outside linebacker. Yes, sir. Chris, you're going to be our team captain. Yes, sir. Chris, I need you to do this. Yes, sir. Chris, I need you to do that. Yes, sir. Chris, don't do that. Yes, sir. It didn't matter. He's always a yes, sir. He's very coachable. And you don't know how valuable that is unless you're in our position. And it was funny, the story you told. He did. He would do stuff exactly the way you said it, and that was really fun to have. So he's Mr. Everything for us. Traz is Mr. Everywhere. Traz Smith, is he here? Where's Traz? Well, there we go. Where's Traz, right? There you go. All right, Mr. Everywhere, because there was a lot of places I tried to play Traz. I would play him at this position, but he always said yes, sir, and he tried his best at it. So I put him as Mr. Everywhere, and that's funny that he's not here right now. Jagger. Where's Jagger? Jagger right there. I made eye contact with Jagger a while ago. He's Mr. Motor, and Coach Bradley will know what I'm talking about. This kid would dehydrate himself every practice. He'd give you everything he had, every single snap. There was a few his sophomore year, I worried about him. Like, is he going to be able to finish the practice? He'd give you everything he had. And sometimes it was a little too much. And he would almost want to fall out on me. So Jagger's my Mr. Motor. And all these seniors, guys, need to be recognized. And I'm going to make them stand up here in a little bit and do my whole thing. But, guys, that's how important you guys are, that you got a Mr. name for me tonight. I thought about what could I say about a football season that everybody up here has not said. I think back, it's almost like a timeline for me. I'm sitting in what I call my men den at our house. And I think you even made a suggestion, said I was in the tool shed when I was doing an interview with KIT. In June, we got told that we could start doing a little bit of practice in June. And I thought, oh, well, that's all we need. That's all we need. Let's start a little practice. They're going to let us do it. Hey, but here's the catch. You've got to take their temperatures. You can't, get 6 feet away. You got to spray down everything they touch. And I was like, okay, fine. We'll do that. Whatever it takes. Because the one thing I did not want for these kids I just talked about was what they had to experience their spring semester. I did not want Theron Davis not to have a senior year, or Colin Hill, or Jagger, or Chris, or Traz, or Wes. I did not want these kids not to have a senior year of football. I know how special that was for me, and I did not want that taken from them. So when they said you've got to spray everything they touch, you better believe it. Coaches can attest to this. We sprayed everything. We wiped down everything. We tried to stay 6 feet apart. We tried to mask up. We tried to do all these things because we wanted it so bad. Not only selfishly, but you wanted that for those kids. You wanted to be able to say we had a football season. So in June when they said that, that's all we needed. Okay, good. We're going to run with this. July, they said you could do a little bit more. So then it gave you a little bit more hope that, yeah, we're going to have a season. We are going to have a season. And then August turned around. We still didn't have the answer we wanted. We still didn't know if we were going to have a season or not. and you're sitting there going, man, this is getting really tight. This is getting close. Well, then they finally said we could play. So then what do? You worry all August, September, October. What if? What if we get quarantined? What if we have kids that miss? What if we have a kid that gets sick? What do we do? And that fear going into it every week was like no pass, no play, if you remember that. Some of you old heads around here remember no pass, no play. Every week we didn't know who we're going to have. And that was a scary part of coaching when you don't know if somebody's baby is going to get sick. Hey, you don't know if that kid is going to be around kids and we have to quarantine. Is our whole season going to be maybe over? And that was a scary thing for me as in charge, but it was also scary for me as a father, just to have to go through that. But we did what we had to do, and I can honestly say we did not have any game that we had to close down because of COVID reasons. And that is something I think that we all should be proud of. But then there was the last game of the year, Coach Reynolds, where me and Coach Reynolds we were sitting side by side in our trucks talking about our symptoms and talking about, well, how do you feel today? How do you feel today? How are you going to watch the game this Friday? And that's very humbling. It's very humbling to go through a whole season with these groups of guys, and then the last game, the most important game of our year, me and Coach Reynolds didn't get to experience it. The last game with these seniors, we didn't get to experience it with you. I watched it on TV. He watched his own son come off the field. Didn't get to hug his neck. You think that don't humble you, that humbles you really, really bad. And I hated it for me. I can't imagine what that man felt. So, this has been a hard year, but we survived it. And I think if anything teaches us about what we do around here, we keep moving forward. We keep trying our best. And I think this year has taught us that. It's humbled us. And I thank God that we got what we got, and we've learned what we've learned, and we can move forward. So this year has taught me a lot. It's humbled me. But I'm glad we had it. I'll just be honest with you. I'm glad we did, but I'm glad we can move forward from it. We ended this season with an overall record of 9-2, with a conference record of 4-1. And I got the plaque somewhere, and I don't really like showing it off. It's a conference runner-up trophy. I'm not real big on conference runner-up trophies, but we do have one floating around here somewhere. Individual awards. Theron Davis, Tyler Johnson were all-state selections from our conference, with second team from Chris Reynolds, Jagger, and Weston. They got all-state second team. All-conference was Theron Davis, Tyler Johnson, Chris Reynolds, Weston Henderson, Jagger Robinson, Jadarius Reed, Tristan Griffin, C.J. Young, D.J. Marshall, Eli Alcorn, and Isaiah Kendall, with second team all-conference going to Colin Hill, Brady Cook, Abel Robinson, Antoine Hardaway, Jacob Ozier, Caden Johnson, Colin Ellis, and Jamario Ballantyne. Your best under the sun that the Jonesboro Sun puts out, they voted on Theron Davis, Tyler Johnson, and Chris Reynolds to be the best under the sun for football. Chris Reynolds also received the Coach Bill Keaty Homecoming Award that we give out every year for the most valuable player on the homecoming game. So if you did receive a postseason award and you're here, stand up. Thank you, guys. That's a big deal. So thank you guys for all your effort, hard work. You deserved it. Now under our senior award, this young man was everything we wanted in a football player. He if you've ever coached football or coached anything, he is the kid that, the dependability, the leadership, everything that goes with that character. And it's like I don't want to retell the same story that I just told, but this kid was just a football player. Everything about him just was a football player. And, I say grit a lot, and I think that's important, that he's gritty. He did his job. I talk about do your job all the time. He did his job. I trusted him. Another big thing that I really push is trust. And you know what? I'm going to miss him, and I could say this, and right now I'm saying this, and you're probably thinking it's probably somebody in particular. It could be all of them, because I've tried to brag on him as much as I can. But this kid I'm going to really, really miss, and he just made our team better. And any chance I get, we want to get it to an offensive lineman. So this year's senior award goes to Jagger Robinson. He's always got a fun haircut, too. Dallin's beating him with that now. Dallin's got the mullet hawk. Make sure it's on cue here. All right, now on to our individual awards, and these are always special to give, and it's what I always look forward to, I'll be honest with you, whenever we give these individual awards. First up is our Justin Brown Award. The Justin Brown Award is awarded the most outstanding lineman in football that displays characteristics of leadership, hard work, and determination that Justin Brown represented. This award goes to a player that was a leader on the line, that was a true selfless player on the offensive and defensive front for us this year. We always knew we could trust him, and we believed that he would give us everything he had on every single snap. This young man showed grit after coming back from an injury and hard work, come back stronger than ever. This young man showed great leadership and heart in every challenge we laid in front of him. I'm proud to announce this year's Justin Brown Award winner is Tyler Johnson.
3 years ago, I learned some valuable information about this young man's dad. I was told that he was the meanest and the toughest football player that ever came out of McCroy. Learning that information, I went to Coach Hinesley and I said, what's the chance of this young man right here being a wide receiver? He said, absolutely none. I said, that's good information to know. He is extremely tough. Roy Thomas, guys, was probably one of the most mentally and physically toughest guys I've ever met in my life. And it's amazing how this young man mirrors that toughness. Even the way he walks kind of like Roy. When he stands like Roy. Roy always had wide hands, and this young man's grip is like a steel trap. I mean, when he grabs a hold of you, he ain't letting go. And Roy was that way. Roy, the way he would practice was just like this young man. He practiced hard. He played hard in the game. And when I was asking Coach Johnston, I said, can you tell me something about this young man? He said, Wes is a great leader for us on and off the field. He was a senior who led the offensive line every single day in practice and on Friday night. He was very dependable and responsible young man, evident not only in his play but also in the classroom as well. Says Wes is a great example of what a student athlete can be. He's got one of the most sought-after characteristic traits that of character you want a young man to have, and that is trust. No matter what, we could trust this young man to do exactly what we say and be the leader we needed him to be, not only in practice but also in the game. And the grit that Coach Hinesley is talking about, he gets that from his mama. Whoo! He is a true credit to himself, his family, and to the football team, the staff that loves him very much. The Roy Thomas Memorial Scholarship goes to Western Henderson.
The Charles Ballantyne Award is the most prestigious award that Newport athlete can receive. It is a student athlete that possesses many characteristics, including outstanding character, dependability, perseverance, and work ethic. But of all else, it is an athlete that has a tremendous attitude towards sports and life itself. This year's Charles Ballantyne Award goes to a great young man that has shown all of these qualities, especially a drive to compete and the perseverance to achieve the goals that he sets in front of him to obtain. This year's award goes to a young man that everybody looks up to, including me. It's my honor to present Charles Ballantyne Award to Chris Reynolds. That's pretty good. All right, the #1 Greyhound Fan Award goes to a loyal Greyhound that knows how important the hounds are to this community. This individual supports their own, but is a true fan of all Greyhounds. I value this fan for his loyalty. He always shows up to our school, for our school, our coaches, and our players. This man goes above and beyond to help and please others when it's needed the most. This year's award has been given to a true supporter that has showed his generosity and devotion to the hounds every chance he got. He stepped up, he put in the work, and he showed what Greyhound Proud is all about. This man, like I just told you, he come forward when we needed him in football season. He really come forward when we needed him the most in basketball season. So this year's #1 fan goes to Dean Van Winkle. Okay, now I want to invite Hilda Price to come read our poem, Love the Game.
No, I got it. Okay. Love the game. Love the game for the pure joy of accomplishments. Love the game for everything it can teach you about yourself. Love the game for the feeling of belonging to a group, endeavoring to its best. Love the game for the challenges of working harder than you ever have at something and then harder than that. Love the game because at its best, the game tradition will include your contribution. Love the game because you belong to a long line of fine athletes who loved it. It's now your legacy. Love the game so much that you will pass your love of the game to another athlete who has your dedication, your work, your challenges, your triumphs. And then that athlete will, because of you, love the game.
Thank you. All right. In closing, I want to thank Cable 15 for filming today. I also want you to really thank M&P for cooking what we ate tonight. Also the ladies that helped make everything that you saw tonight. Also, don't forget, we do have free physical night, May the 11th. I guess that's next Tuesday. Is that right? Somebody check my date. At 5 o'clock in the field house, any Newport student athlete, 7th through 12th, that needs a free physical, you can do that next Tuesday, May 11th. And then lastly, on behalf of everybody up here, thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for allowing us to call your kids our kids, and we really do appreciate that. So hopefully we'll see you next year. Go Hounds.